In today's video, we'll be discussing imposter scams. Before you think that you're too smart to fall for one of these scams, consider how much more sophisticated they've become. Imposters use many different techniques, but their scams all work in the same general way. A scammer pretends to be someone you trust to convince you to send them money. In this video, you'll learn what to do if you think you're being scammed by an imposter so that you won't fall prey to their schemes, and you can help protect others from being tricked too. Imposter scams were the most popular category of fraud reported in 2022. The Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, reports that there were 161,462 reports of imposter scams made nationwide, with about 15,000 of those reports coming from New York State. Keep in mind that these statistics do not include unreported episodes of fraud by victims who are too embarrassed to speak up, or fraud attempts that were avoided by being aware of potential scams and being cautious with communications from unknown numbers and accounts. The FTC also reports that fraud affects all adults. The trends indicate that younger people are experiencing fraud in general at higher rates than older adults, but older adults are facing a higher monetary impact. The types of fraud schemes and the method of contact used by the scammer varies greatly from generation to generation. Statistically speaking, younger adults fall victim to fraud via social media platforms. Ages 40 to 69 tend to be victimized through websites and mobile apps, and older adults age 70 and above find themselves being contacted by scammers through phone calls. In some of the most popular impersonation schemes, the imposters pose as government officials, potential romantic partners through dating apps, as tech support help, or even as a recruiter with a future employment opportunity. Today's video is going to focus on family emergency scams, which are evolving in format and made a surge in 2022. We'll give two examples of common family emergency scams and advice and resources on how to handle them. Here are some common techniques that scammers will use to try to trick you into believing your family is in trouble. They may greet you as mom, dad, grandma, or grandpa, based on what they hear or just their best guess. And they're going to pay close attention to what you say or how you respond. They're looking for names or other clues that they can use to convince you that they are who you think they are. They may impersonate an authority figure to trick you into thinking that there's an emergency or an urgent situation that needs to be addressed right now. They may try to convince you that the transaction needs to be kept a secret, and this may be to protect a reputation, comply with HIPAA rules, or to speed up the process in general. And they may work as a team to try to amplify the scenario. See if you can spot these techniques in the two following real-life examples of family impersonation schemes in action. Our first example is a telephone contact by a scammer. Imagine it's early on a Saturday morning and you get a call from an unknown local number. You answer the phone and hear a choked up voice say, "Mom." The person crying on the other end of the line sounds like it could be your adult daughter, so you ask, "Rebecca, is everything all right?" She squeaks out a choked up, "No," and then bursts into an uncontrollable sob. A man's voice comes on the line. "Hello, ma'am. I'm calling from the state police. Rebecca has been in an automobile accident and has been arrested. She's in our custody at this time." He continues on, telling you that he will place you on a brief hold, but is going to transfer you to another staff member who's going to walk you through the bail process. The new person on the line refers to Rebecca by name throughout the call, explaining that her bail has been set at $9,000, and being a Saturday, the bail offices are going to close early that day. He explains that you can drop off cash at the office within the next hour to have Rebecca on her way home to her children by dinner time. Or you can pay an electronic invoice if you're able to pay digitally. Your heart is pounding and your mind is full of questions. You're wondering what caused the car accident, What has she been charged with? When did the accident happen? And how long has she been away from her family? As your thoughts are racing, the bail bondsman mentions how important it is to get the bail money to him today. Not only does he want to see Rebecca reunited with her family as soon as possible, he also tells you not to tell the bank what you're using the money for. He instructs you that the clerk at the bank may have extra paperwork for you to fill out for bail funding. Just tell them that you're going on a trip, he says. He has copies of the same forms that the bank has, and you can skip filling them out at the bank and save time by doing it directly with him later on when you arrive. He also suggests not asking other family members for money to pay the bail. He's worried about family gossip or the news media finding out about the accident and ruining Rebecca's reputation. Rebecca could have a hard time finding a job and may lose friends if they found out about the horrific car accident. If you weren't suspicious up until this point, there are plenty of red flags waving at this stage to clue you in that this is a scam. Here's how this works. The team tricks you into believing that your loved one is in imminent need of help. In our example, they use the authority figure of the police sergeant and the helpful bail bondsman. But you may be wondering about how they get your money. Digital payment of the bail invoice that he'll send you allows for speedy access to your funds. But if you don't use digital payment means, the scammer team may use a money mule to accept your cash at a believable location. A money mule is a random stranger that gets paid a small fee for making the cash pickup and then delivering it to the scam team. In our example, they may send you to a large commercial office building in the area, but because the office is closing soon, they'll have an assistant meet you at the door. The money mule will tell you that the bail bondsman will call you in a few days to arrange for the paperwork to be filled out, but by then they've got your money and are long gone. So what should you do if someone calls claiming to be a family member or representative of the family member in a situation where they're desperate for money? Here's how you should handle it. First, keep calm. The scammers are counting on you to panic and make a mistake. Resist the urge to say anyone's name. You can go ahead and ask, "Who is this, please?" and let the caller identify themselves to you, but do not ask if it's Rebecca, for example. And you may have to ask multiple times. They may say something like, "Mom, don't you know it's me?" as they're trying to get you to reveal a name to them. At this point in the call, a scammer may just hang up, realizing you're not going to fall for the scam, and mutter an apology about having the wrong number. If you have caller ID, take note of the caller's phone number. And if you're concerned that the scam may still be a real situation, or if you don't have caller ID, you can ask for a callback number for the person on the line. Then politely hang up. Next, you'll want to call the family member you think is supposedly contacting you. You may be surprised, or not so surprised, when they answer the phone and they are actually not at a jail awaiting your bail money. Now that you've confirmed that your loved one is safe, you should go ahead and report the attempted scam. We'll tell you how later in the video. Example number 2 is a newer common scam happening on social media platforms. You hear the familiar ping of a text message and see the following message on your screen sent from an unfamiliar phone number that I've censored here. Note that at the bottom there's a second phone number that's different, that's also censored. The message reads, "Hi Mom, my phone fell in the toilet. I'm texting from the cashier's phone at the store since I had to get a new SIM. Text me on the second number ASAP." "Oh no, how did you manage that?" you write. They respond that it fell out of their pocket and a new SIM is going to cost $300, but they also left their wallet at home. It has been an awful day with a sad face emoji. You offer to Venmo them the money, and of course, your child can pay you back later. They think that's great, and they praise you for being a lifesaver. Now here's the hook. Mom, my old phone is dead. Make sure you save my new number in your contacts and your WhatsApp. And they're going to provide you with that different censored phone number again. The cashier is going to send you a link to an invoice that you can pay directly instead of sending me money via Venmo. Because supposedly if my phone has been destroyed and I have a new phone and a new phone number, I'm not going to be able to access my Venmo funds. You think it's a good idea, and you're going to save some money transfer fees. An hour or two later, you may get a follow-up message that says, "Oh my God, Mom, I'm having the worst day ever. I just had a flat tire too." And of course, you love your child. They ask for $125 more sent to WhatsApp on their new phone number and to replace the flat tire, and they promise to pay you back later. And of course, what a day. You offer to go out to have ice cream tomorrow to make up for today. Here's how this scam works and why it works. It takes the voice recognition out of the phone call. When you're texting, it's a lot harder to distinguish if the person is real or not. And they're trying to trick you into believing that your loved one has a new phone number on top of it and needs this help immediately. They're going to try to get you to pay an invoice or some other type of bill urgently. In our case, the need was to activate the new phone. Then they're often going to quickly follow up with a second payment request. Remember the flat tire? They're trying to get as much money out of you as possible before you realize that the scammer is not your family member. So what should you do if you encounter this type of scam? Again, first, try to resist the urge to type anybody's name. Keep calm and pause texting for a moment to make a phone call and confirm. Call the family member or friend who is supposedly contacting you. And again, you may be surprised when they answer the phone and are not at the cell phone shop or the tire store at all. What should you do if you've already been scammed and already paid a scammer? Or what should you do if you want to report an attempted scam? If you've been victim to a scam, there is no need to be embarrassed. Scammers are getting more and more sophisticated and believable each day. Why should you report these scams? The FTC builds cases against the scammers on your behalf. They compile statistical data about scams. They look for new trends in scammer behavior, and they use all of this data to educate the public to keep people from falling for future scams. Now, if you've already paid a scammer money already, the FTC has advice linked in the video description below. Go to that page and follow their advice, and you may be able to recover some funds from your banking system. If you've experienced a scam attempt or simply spotted one that you still want to report, you can also make a report at the FTC. The website link for reporting is also linked in the video description below. There is one more small proactive thing you can do now to help identify scams in the future, and that is to implement a code word system with your closest family members. Choose a random and silly word that will be kept secret within your family. A silly word like whippersnapper, abracadabra, or cattywampus is fun. But you could also choose something a little easier to remember, but still a bit unusual in casual conversation. Something like pineapple, Halloween, or slam dunk. In our examples, asking the caller to give their name and the family passphrase may have thwarted their efforts. Remember, some scammers may already know your family member names, but they shouldn't know your family passphrase system.